A regulator in California is drawing up a rule that could quietly outlaw the exact technology Tesla has bet its future on. Not a lawsuit, not a recall, a definition. Buried inside proposed robotaxi language is a requirement that could make Tesla's cameras only approach illegal on public roads. Here's what almost no one covering this actually understands, and why it might decide whether you ever ride in a driverless Tesla. This is happening now because California is finally writing the rule book for driverless cars carrying paying passengers. The key players are simple. Tesla, which has bet billions that cameras and AI are enough. Waymo, owned by Google's parent Alphabet, which drenches its cars in LiDAR and radar. And the California DMV holding the pin. Here's the uncomfortable part. This next part changes the whole picture because the fight isn't really about safety. It's about who gets to define what safety even means. Let's start with the technology because everything flows from it. For more than a decade, one question has hung over this entire industry. Are cameras alone enough to replace a human driver, or do driverless cars need overlapping sensors, LiDAR, and radar to see the world reliably? According to The Verge, Tesla has bet billions of dollars that cameras plus artificial intelligence are sufficient. No LiDAR, no radar on the newer cars, just 8 cameras and neural networks trained on video from millions of vehicles. What does that mean for you? If you own a Tesla, your car's entire self-driving promise rests on that single bet. If cameras alone can't legally qualify as a robotaxi, the value of that promise changes overnight. Now compare Waymo. It stacks LiDAR, radar, and cameras so that when one sensor fails, another catches the gap. Redundancy. That word matters more than you think, and it's about to become the whole battle. A like on this does more than you think to get it seen. So the question becomes, what happens when a regulator writes redundancy into law? There's a twist here almost no one is talking about. Here's the angle everyone's missing. This isn't a Tesla versus Waymo grudge match. It's a fight over how regulation gets written and who writes it. When a state agency defines what a robo-taxi must have, it rarely invents the standard from scratch. It borrows from the companies already operating. And who's already operating driverless cars for money in California? Waymo. Cruise did before it collapsed. Their systems use multiple overlapping sensors. So, when the DMV asks what a safe autonomous system looks like, the working example in front of them has LiDAR and radar baked in. See the trap? If the rule quietly assumes sensor redundancy is the baseline for safety, Tesla's camera-only design doesn't just look different, it looks non-compliant. Not because it's been proven unsafe, but because the definition was shaped around a rival's hardware. The villain here isn't a person, it's the way standards get set by whoever shows up first. Waymo benefits, Tesla gets boxed in, and you, the driver who paid up to $15,000 for full self-driving, are caught in the middle, holding a feature that might never be legally allowed to drive you anywhere as a robotaxi. Elon Musk has called LiDAR a crutch, a fool's errand. That's not just engineering opinion anymore, it's a legal exposure. Don't drop off now. The ending ties this together. Here's what almost no one is saying out loud. The proposed language, as reported, doesn't name Tesla. It doesn't have to. By defining a driverless passenger's vehicle around capabilities that overlapping sensors provide, it can effectively exclude a cameras-only system without ever writing the word Tesla. That's the surprising part. This isn't a ban on Tesla. It's a ban on a philosophy, on the idea that AI and vision alone can match a human. And it would be enforced not by proving Tesla wrong on the road, but by writing the rule so the debate never even happens. So here's my prediction. Tesla fights this hard and it becomes a national fight because whatever California decides, other states copy. If the redundancy standard sticks, Tesla either bolts sensors back onto its cars, reversing a decade of strategy, or it launches Robotaxis in friendlier states like Texas first and dares California to keep its cars out. Watch Texas. That's where Musk moves when California says no. And think about what that means for you personally. The car in your driveway could become a driverless taxi in Austin and a plane car in San Francisco. Same vehicle, different law. That's the future we're walking into. Before I go, here is your tech tip of the day. If you work with any kind of location or sensor data, or you just want to understand how these systems reason, learn to read a coordinate transform. In robotics, everything Waymo and Tesla do depends on knowing where each sensor sits relative to the car and the world. Try this. Install the Robot Operating System, ROS, and run the command ROS to run TF Tools View Frames. It generates a live diagram of every coordinate frame and how they connect. It's the fastest way to see how a self-driving stack fuses cameras, LiDAR, and GPS into one shared picture of reality. Even if you never build a robot, understanding frame transforms will make every autonomy debate suddenly click. Because the sensor fight is really a geometry fight. That is your tip for today. If this Robotaxi rule made you rethink what your Tesla can actually do, tell me in the comments which side you're on. Cameras or LiDAR? I read them all. Subscribe to FutureEdge and I'll see you tomorrow with the next one.